Prescription drug. Prescription drug.
Right guys, I just want to share this article with you that was on the BBC News website. It's entitled Dementia Linked to Common Over-the-Counter Drugs. Now, for a long time we've all been warning you about Big Pharma, not only of the side effects of the drugs that some of these companies make, but also the fact that a lot of people die whilst being on these drugs. And these are statistics that can be checked. Okay, some of these drugs are doing more harm than good, and if you know about the agendas out there, then that kind of makes sense. So this article here is called Dementia Linked to Common Over-the-Counter Drugs. A study has linked commonly used medicines, including over-the-counter treatments for conditions such as insomnia and hay fever, to dementia. So basically what they're saying is they have found links between Big Pharma drugs and the fact that they're going to make you go, you're going to have dementia. All of the types of medication in question are drugs that have now I'm going to have some problems with some of these words and how to pronounce them, anticholinergic effect. This word means that it blocks things in your nervous system. It blocks signals to your brain, basically. Experts say people should not panic or stop taking their medicines. Now, they've just told you that they've done this study, and I'll read you the numbers as well. The amount of people who they have studied and followed for 3 years, the amount of people who have got dementia, okay? It's ridiculous. But they're telling you not to panic, and they're telling you not to stop spending your money and not to stop earning their money for them and bringing in the big money for Big Pharma. So just don't panic whilst reading this story. I don't want anyone to panic or anything. So in the US study in the journal JAMA in Internal Medicine, higher doses and prolonged use were linked to higher dementia risks in elderly people. The researchers only looked at older people and found the increased risk appeared when people took drugs every day for 3 years or more. Now, guys, it's not just the elderly that are taking drugs every single day. I'm sure there's people I know people of all ages that take medication. They're being told they have to take medication every day. Now, what's happening is that they're taking this medication every day, and they're now getting side effects from the medication that the doctors originally given them. And not only that, if you're on long-term medication, this is proof that you are going to suffer from dementia. Okay? Side effects. All medicines can have side effects. And anticholinergic type drugs that block a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine are no exception. Patient information leaflets accompanying such drugs warn of the possibility of reduced attention span and memory problems, as well as a dry mouth. But researchers say people should be aware that they may be linked to a higher risk of developing dementia. I'm not going to read the whole story to you. I will leave the link and you can read it yourself. So the drugs in the study, they didn't name any specific brands, but they did outline the type of treatments that they'd investigated, which included antidepressants for treating depression, antihistamines used to treat hay fever and allergies, and also a drug for treating urinary incontinence. Now, there's many people on antidepressants, and they're not just all old people. There are loads of people who take antihistamines all through the year now, because it seems that hay fever is an all-year-round problem and other people suffer from allergies, so you're taking your antihistamines every day. This here is telling you that you will get dementia. Okay, it's not saying that it might happen, because the study they did, over the course of the study, 797 of the participants developed dementia. So, that's quite a big number. They don't actually tell you how many people were in the study, to be honest. But, out of all the people they studied, in the course of this study, 797 of the participants developed dementia. And it was because they were on Big Pharma drugs every single day. So, when people warn you about Big Pharma and say to you, stay away from Big Pharma, because my personal experience with Big Pharma is when I've had a problem, and the last big problem I had is when I had shingles, and I'd had it a few times. And the last time I got it, I thought to myself, I'm not going to take any of the prescription drugs they've given me this time. I'm just not going to take them because they made me feel really shit. They made me feel lethargic and they made me feel depressed, the drugs that I was taking. They were like massive, like horse tablets. They were huge, right? So I thought to myself, okay, they're telling me I've got this problem, but this time I'm not going to take any of the tablets. And you know what? I didn't take any of the tablets. It cleared up a lot quicker than any of the times I'd supposedly had this shingles. There was a lot less pain. The rash didn't stay around for long at all. And it's the only time I'm supposed to have had this shingles where I didn't scar and I didn't take any of the drugs. I don't particularly like going to the doctors and I don't like taking prescription drugs. And if I'm really, really desperate, I might take something if I've got a really terrible headache, but that's the only time. And I find my body now doesn't want to keep any of these big pharma drugs inside me. And I do find that I'm vomiting once I've taken these things. But this is just a little heads up. If you know someone who takes, they have to take medication every day, then, maybe speak to them or show them this article. And see if you can't wean yourself off the big pharma and see how you feel when you're not taking it. Because, all these side effects, you don't know what they're giving you. You don't know what's in these medications. You just don't know. And you've got other sort of things in some of these drugs as well. You've got a product called aspartame. And this is something that's made out of, I know it's crazy, but it's made out of the poo of bacteria. And it's put into things like, for instance, you get a flu, you get a cold, a lot of people just run straight to their local pharmacy and they pick up, what's that thing called? A Lemsip. Now, Lemsip has got aspartame in it. Why put something that's horrible and dangerous and makes people sick in a product that's supposed to be making you better? This alone should make you open your eyes and see, well, what's really happening here? They tell us something is blue and really it's orange, but we all go along and say, oh yeah, it's just blue. There's lots of double talk and like opposites happening here. So if you're going to be putting bad stuff into a drug that's supposed to be making you better, and it's also going to then lead to you possibly getting dementia, it's time to, look at this with fresh eyes. And, something's going on here. And if people weren't ill, if there was nobody out there that was ill, if people didn't get cancers, all this kind of thing, imagine how much money would be lost. Who benefits when we're ill? Because there's someone out there is benefiting when we're ill. I'm going to tell this story again, because if this doesn't open your eyes, then I don't know what will. Where I used to work in a company that sold lots of these things for Big Pharma. It was a well-known high street pharmacy. And in one of my meetings, my manager turned around, we're all in this meeting talking about strategy and what we're going to do and things that are coming up. He actually said in this meeting, let's hope that we have a really, really bad flu season this year so the profits go up. That's what he said in this meeting. And I looked around the room. And nobody was, nobody blinked. Nobody was noticed what he'd said or cared about what he'd said. And it was at that precise moment in time, my heart and my mind decided and knew that I had to leave that place. And things happened and it ended up that I did leave that place. And I've got a much better job now. And I'm very happy at the moment, actually. But that's the kind of mindset that these big pharma people have. You've got the people making the drugs, and then you've got the big pharmacies on the high road pushing the drugs, okay? But they're legal, but they're killing you, and they're giving you dementia. Just some food for thought. Peace out.
Prescription drugs. Prescription drugs.